All right, we'll go ahead and get started here front left with Shane.
Hey Dillon, Shane Owen Forbes, nice to see you.
That's good.
Just wondering, from your perspective, how proud or how much are you excited to kind of change the narrative for this team defensively? Last couple of years, they were top 7, top 10 offense, but last year, obviously poor defensively. Just how much are you taking that on us to change that narrative?
I'm excited. I feel like that's why they came and traded for me, to have that presence, to have that priority of defense. Past 3 or 4 teams I've been on, or 4 years, only been on 2 teams, but we've been like top 5, top 10 in defense. And I feel like that's what makes you get to the playoffs. That's what makes you win games, even when you're shooting the ball not good that night. You can hang your hat on defense, energy, and your wit to bring to the game, because you're not going to hit. You're not going to hit every shot. You're going to go through cold spells, and your defense, can always be on.
Hey, Dillon. Stephen Prejean, Gardner, PhD in Sports. The last couple of years, when watching your film, I'm seeing you guard a lot of centers, and that kind of adding depth of versatility to your team's defense and the successes you just got done speaking to. Is that something you plan on bringing to the Suns? And I'm curious about kind of how those conversations go with the coach and the kind of trust that you build, not just with your coach, but with your teammates, to know that you got it locked down so you don't have to send help or send doubles in ways that you might against other proverbial mismatches.
Yeah, the one-on-one battle I love. I take that with a lot of pride. Doesn't matter if it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4, or even a 5, as you said. I'm ready for the matchup. And it's just, me and Ott, trying to figure out, different ways of guarding different players, what the weaknesses is, what we want to give up. I feel like, as a defense, you want to give up, long 2s and no corner 3s. And then ultimately we got to rebound. So, just bringing that competitive fire, every single night, I feel like it's going to be contagious to the team, and it won't matter, who's guarding the best player or who I'm guarding. Everyone's going to give their best ability, for the team.
We'll go to Doug here on the left.
Hi, Dillon. Doug Haller at The Athletic. I think a few of us in this room covered you during your college days at Oregon. You played with an edge then, but not the edge that we see in the NBA today. When did you really kind of move on to kind of embracing the role that you have and even the villain role that people have put on you?
Like 3 years ago, after that whole thing with the Lakers, I had to look myself in the face, with Memphis not wanting me and, trying to figure out a new path in the NBA. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, how bad do you want it? And, from that on, I've been, relishing in open arms to the villain persona role, whatever you want to put it. But that just comes from just me being super competitive, trying different things on a defensive end that's gonna, annoy or wear down on the offensive player. In Oregon, I didn't have to do too much of that. We played a lot of zone, so I just guarded my zone. But I feel like just the way I play, smash mouth, physical, in your face type of game is where I got the villain nickname.
Go to Greg in the back middle.
Dillon, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Welcome to town.
Appreciate it.
This is an awkward situation, right? Asking questions like this is just weird. I read something once that said that you spend about 4 hours in pregame looking at your assignments and watching film and getting ready for a game. How do you maintain that concentration, and do you hold your teammates to a similar standard? And if you do, how?
It's over a couple days of me watching film, so it kind of adds up to it. I'm watching both sides of the floor. I'm watching single player that I'm guarding. I'm watching if I get switched off onto a center. All their plays, I gotta know. And then ultimately, when I have all that knowledge, I'm able to, communicate it to my teammates, even if it's before the game, during the game, and then even after, what we did wrong, what we needed to work on, stuff like that. But just continuously watching film so I'm ready. It's like, you're going to class and you're doing all these homework and writing stuff and all this, and then you get ready for the test and you know all the answers. So, that's how I try to approach it. And then once I have all that down packed, I'm able to, use my physicality in different ways, beat over a play or blow up a play or, make them not able to set up their plays the way they wanted to in a certain amount of time in a 24-second shot clock. So everything is precise the way I look at it, the way I do, and that's why I am what I am.
Go to Lena, back right.
Hey Dillon, Lena Washington, 12 News Phoenix. Welcome to the Valley. It was cool to see you at a Mercury game a couple weeks ago, getting into the community. I'm curious, when you talk about the villain role, you've competed against Devin Booker and the Suns and in this arena. Personally, I'm wondering, you'll get to it tomorrow probably, but is it difficult to switch or flip that switch from being a competitor to a teammate? Does that kind of bring iron sharpens iron energy, or what's that like to kind of say, I'm not the enemy anymore when you walk into a locker room like this?
I think it's just my personality. I'm not always that. If I was always that, then I don't think anybody would like me. But when I first get on a team, I just be myself, and I feel like people gravitate to that. And then they go back home and be like, oh, this guy's not that bad. Like, he's not what we all think he is. So, and then they want to learn. They want to, be able to, put it in their own game, but differently, the way I do it. Like, I'm going to do it, like, in your face, like, right in the camera, fight, whatever the case may be, is tussle, whatever, talk shit after on this podium here. But, you just put your own little sauce on it. Like, with Ryan and with Oso, like, I'm going to try to really get these guys into being, like, confident in themselves on the defensive end and on the offensive end, and try to speed up their growth, speed up their confidence, because with the young guys, you need those guys, those young legs, and they really help uplift your team when it's really needed. So for me, it's just, when you meet me, you like me. When you don't meet me or you just play against me, you hate me. So, and that's the way I like it.
Time for a few more. We'll go to Nathan.
Where am I at right now?
Hi, Andy Rowe, Mike Cronkite News. Welcome to the Valley, Dillon. So you've talked a lot about your defense and the role that's going to play on the team, but having that Coach Ott and the new guys on the roster and the offensive system you're going to have in place, what can you tell me about the role that your offense is going to bring to this team?
Catch and shoot threes, a lot of threes, and then I feel like I'll have more chances to play in, pick and roll, dribble handoffs and stuff like that, and be able to create and showcase a little bit what I was doing before, all this defensive villain talk before, and get back to what I like doing is playmaking, putting the ball in the basket, and winning basketball games.
Stay on the right with Dana.
Dillon, Dana Scott, Arizona Republic, welcome again.
Thank you.
I've seen some of your off-season work here in the Valley at AZ Compass Prep, working with BJ Letcher, his training, and also there was that awkward situation years ago where the Suns tried to trade for you, it didn't happen. Now they have the Wright Brooks. So, do you feel like this was a natural transition to end up here? With all that said.
Yeah, that whole thing, that ordeal with getting traded to Phoenix and didn't happen, was like, something that possibly could happen. I never thought I was going to get traded out of Memphis. And I ended up being on Houston. And then that, with BJ, that was free agency. I was working out here. My agency's out here, so it feels like home. And, then being traded, I was happy. I was, confident. I was ready. And, just this whole summer has just been about being diligent in my craft, being able to produce more on the offensive end, and then, adding to my game as well so I can be a, offensive threat.
Final question here with Dwayne.
It's interesting that you said that. I went back and watched the game you had against Boston. You just went completely off offensively. How much do you feel like you can not necessarily have those kind of games, but be that threat offensively? And B, can you just explain what that feeling is like when you're in the visiting arena and you got it going like that and you're talking to everyone and they're talking back to you and you have the arena basically in the palm of your hands?
I would say it's a great feeling. Like, those are one of the best feelings. For me, that's a better feeling than, being in front of your home crowd, that's just me as being a competitor, as me being smash mouth in your face. You're going to see a lot of those games more. I've been putting a lot more work, being consistent with my jump shot, the way I follow through, and my base and my balance. And then in that game, it's like, I feel like I couldn't miss from the beginning. I really wanted that game because my whole career never won in Boston or in the Garden. So I really wanted that game bad, and it was for, Ime as well. And then, just hearing every single time you shoot a three, the crowd gasps for air, and then, we were down in that game. We ended up coming back and winning, is an amazing feeling.
All right. Thanks, Dillon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.